Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell. And Colin, today we are joined by the starting quarterback for North Texas, Chandler Rogers. Chandler, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I've had too many coaches on the podcasts that I do over the past however many months, so I just always say coach. But yeah, you've had a busy week, obviously coming off of the win against Louisiana Tech. I think that's where I want to start. Just walk us through the emotions of that game. Obviously, y'all build up the lead, then they come back, and then you get the ball back with one last drive. Just what were your emotions like, and how the game all played out for you?
Just knowing that we were up and that we had that unfortunate fumble was gave them momentum. Just trying to stay level headed, make sure everybody just keeps a very level head, calm, cool, and collected throughout the entire game. And something that Coach Morris talked about was just don't complain. If anything bad happens, just play the next play. Just focus one play at a time, and that's what we did. And with a minute and four left, we were down, drove and kicked that field goal. And it was just a really testament to our mental toughness that we've really been working on. And our saying with Coach Kagan is discipline over default, so that it really showed then.
What was it like getting that, obviously your first start, getting a win? What were the emotions around that for you and as well for the team?
For the team, it was just much needed for our confidence. Play Cal, things didn't go the way we wanted to. We played FIU, it was an unfortunate loss. But just getting back on track and making, just feeling good about ourselves, like, hey, we can still do this. We're still a really good football team. We have great talent, great coaches. Um, and just that's just a confidence booster for myself. It's a confidence booster as well because, I've been playing for the past 2 years at ULM. I've been winning games there. It's just a reminder that I still have the talent. I'm still who I am and who I've been in the past, and just going in and winning games.
For sure. What went into your decision to transfer from ULM? Obviously, you had some success there. Played a lot of games. I guess just talk us through the recruitment process. Like, what did Morris do to kind of get you here?
Okay, so me leaving ULM really became down to the resources. As far as like being off campus, we weren't providing any meals, any meal plans.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's on your own.
Yeah.
We also didn't have a full training staff. Like we went the entire season without a head trainer.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
sheesh.
I
that's
mean,
crazy actually.
like we had like 2, 3 student GAs that were the training staff for all sports.
Mm-hmm.
So going through that and just it was really a struggle. Reminded me a lot of when I was in junior college. So just being in Division One football again, I was like, things aren't supposed to be like this. So and I brought it to their attention. I tried to make a plan to where things could be fixed, but unfortunately wasn't able to. So I opted to leave and transfer. And Coach Morris, he asked for my number like a day or two after he got hired here, and we talked. Talked about why I left ULM. He talked about bringing me home. I saw the staff he brought in with Coach Gilbert, Coach O. I mean, just familiar faces that I've known for years, and having those relationships already established, it made things a lot easier. And I took my visit here in January, and I mean, just was a day or two after I committed. It just felt right, felt very comfortable. Being an air raid, I did this very same offense in high school as well, and had great success with it. So I know I have great success here as well.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about the style that of offense, obviously that Eric Morris runs. Talked about, like you said, air raid. I wasn't sure. Obviously, we watched your games at ULM when you committed over here, and obviously it's a different offense from there. But I was curious as if you had played it all in high school and stuff. So to hear you say that, it's kind of encouraging. But just how different is it from even the offense at ULM that you ran? How much did you have to kind of relearn the system?
Relearning the system for as far as concepts
Mm-hmm.
is really very similar because I mean it's college football. Everybody runs the same thing essentially. They just call it something different. Now the main difference was really the personnel groupings because we were a lot more 11 personnel, 12 personnel ULM, and now we would like to have a lot of fast guys out there playing fast.
Yeah.
Um, when I first got here, a lot of operation went through me, and that was really the biggest adjustment. Is just telling everybody what to do. I mean, I would get signal to play, and I have to relay it to everybody, to all the receivers, to the running backs, to the offensive line. It's a little bit simpler now because I've been through it. I've been going through it since the spring, the walkthroughs. I mean, it's just it was a lot just operationally.
Yeah. I I want to jump around a little bit, Colin.
Yeah,
We
it's
have
fine.
a run through, but we're just gonna jump around here. Uh, so in the spring you get here, you obviously learn the system, everything like that. You know the core. You have a lot of quarterbacks in the room, whatnot. Go through fall camp as well. What was fall camp like for you, and how it kind of unfolded, and just obviously the competition between you and Stone, and just how all that played out. What was fall camp that whole month like for you?
I felt that I had a very good camp. The coaches agreed as well. Um, moved the ball well, had great operation, we're scoring um, a lot really, and coaches just felt like Stone was the one to start the game against Cal, and he also told me that they had a plan to play me as well. So it wasn't the result I wanted because I
Mhm.
came here to be the guy, but everything works out in its own time.
How tough was it to not start in those first 2 weeks?
It,
And then
it, was, it was very tough because
yeah.
I've been playing for the past 2 years, really three if you want to count junior college. So it was something that I had to get back used to. Because when I first got to ULM, I started as the backup behind Red. So I've been in this situation before. I know how to handle. I know how to prepare, and just knowing that when my name is called, I have to be ready. So I just made sure I was ready.
Obviously, you come in the second half of that FIU game. What was the how was it? Getting rhythm, because obviously you weren't in the first half. I think they were y'all were up. But how was it? How difficult was it to get rhythm on the fly?
I feel like it really wasn't because just coming fresh out of halftime, you're kind of warm. You get
Yeah.
seen out of halftime, so I was already warm throwing, and I felt really good, and I really had a great grasp of the game plan, and like I said, being prepared. I mean, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So knowing that and doing the things I needed to do during the week, making sure I'm locked in the walkthroughs, watching extra film, just making sure that I was ready and prepared, and just went out there and played. I wasn't even thinking.
Can you say that phrase again?
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
I've heard it before, but it kind of threw me off when you said it. I was like, okay, I hadn't heard it in a lot. Um, Now, I mean, as you move forward in the season, now, like you said, getting the big win over Louisiana Tech and getting that momentum going forward, you haven't even started conference play yet. Just what are the keys to keeping this offense going, keeping the consistency going? Just what are the main factors for you?
Just making sure that we're consistent. There's going to be highs and lows, but finding that midline where everything is just still. Everybody is just taking one step at a time, getting 1% better every day. Just making sure that everybody is holding each other accountable, and as well as holding ourselves accountable. It's just making sure we're knowing our assignments, going through walkthroughs, making sure we're sharp mentally, taking care of our bodies as well, and just taking things one day at a time. That's all we can control.
Obviously, moving forward, starting with Macklin and Burns as your receiving core, what makes those guys unique? Obviously, you go down further the list. You got Trey Cleveland, Damon Ward. Can you just explain to us what makes those guys unique and effective?
I mean, if you want to go one by one, J Mac, I mean, he's a twitchy route runner. I mean, there's not a route he can't run. And he has great hands. He knows his body well.
Is
Um,
it isn't his
Rod,
Twitter like the route runner or something like that?
I think
yeah,
it's Route Runner, yeah,
yeah,
like
Rod.
Route Runner 9 or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, he gets a lot of his game from his older cousin, um,
yeah,
Jeremy. So, I mean, watching Jeremy and watching J Mac is like the same player to me.
yeah. We had him on the podcast.
And,
When was that? Colin Spring? That was spring, right?
That
Yeah,
was spring, yeah.
and yeah, he talked about that a good amount.
and having Rod, I mean, he's a vet. He knows how to get open. He's going to catch the ball and make plays with his feet. I mean, you saw that in Louisiana Tech, all the yak yardage he had. Jay Smart is somebody who's very slept on because I mean, Jay
Mm,
Smart could make two people miss and he can go for 80. Trey Cleveland is a deep threat. He's very fast. Kalon is the same way. He's very fast, and we also get him in the running game as well.
yeah.
Blair Conwright, he's somebody who is a crafty route runner. I mean, he just knows how to get open. I mean, he man coverage, he's going to separate well. In zone coverage, he knows how to find the hole and sit in the grass. You also have Zai, who is
Yeah.
somebody who has great potential. I mean, you look at him physically, he's 6'2", he's like 210. I mean, he's like look at him, he looks unstoppable, and he has those flashes where he truly is. Um, and you have D Ward, my guy.
Mhm.
I mean, he's been playing here for years, and you see that
Long
he's
time.
still continuing. So I mean, this receiver core is really great.
Does I'm just curious from a quarterback perspective. Obviously, you think about all that before the play. You think of that whenever the play is called and whatnot. How much of that goes through your head as the plays unfolding, though? I guess is a way of looking at it. Like,
That's an
do
interesting
you think?
question. Yeah.
I guess just like you got Trey Cleveland 1-on-1, you throwing it and whatnot. Just but like the
Yeah.
other factors, everybody has their individual skills. How does that play in your head?
Right. Sometimes, some play calls are based by a certain player based off of what they're able to do, what they're best at.
Mm-hmm.
And our coaches do a great job putting us in situations to make sure that everybody is able to succeed. Like Jay Mack, he's very twitchy, great route runner. He's able to separate, use his body. Trey Cleveland's deep threat. I mean, if I'm in the middle of a game, he's like, hey, I can beat him on this. I'm like, okay, call this play, and I'm going to him. Or
Mm-hmm.
if it's just like there's a corner out there that really isn't that good, we're going at him.
Yeah.
There's a safe that's really not good, who's not fast. For example, like Kalo can just run by people. He can run by
Mhm.
anybody. I mean, Rod, Smart, Blair, route runners, they can beat anybody. So it's just, of course, I'm definitely gonna look who's out there for sure. But play call, it definitely plays an effect based off of the defense and who is guarding them as well.
How
That's interesting.
collaborative is that process of play calling? Obviously, dirt throughout the week as y'all scout and y'all figure out what you can run, but even during the game, as you kind of talk to Morris and the whole offensive staff as to what you want to run.
It's very collaborative. We talk about every play, every after every series. So we have great communication between us. If there's something I don't like, they're like, "Hey, let me know. If you don't like it, we won't call it." But they'll also bring it like, "How do you feel about this? How you feel about that?" If I like it, they'll call it for sure. I mean, it's not where you're like, "Okay, we're just gonna stick with the game plan and make it work." If something doesn't work, it's going to change.
Hmm.
That's interesting. I guess I've never really thought about that in college, especially. You always think
Yeah,
about it like in the NFL.
yeah. Um. Oh, what do you got, Colin?
I was just gonna move down to. So we obviously just talked about receivers. I mean, you came here, North Texas last year, to a great running back room. Still do. You got Io, Oscar, Ragsdale,
Johnson.
Isaiah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got here high level running backs. What's that like having that behind you?
For the past 2 years, running the football has been a struggle. So it's definitely a stress reliever for me.
Yeah.
We got to run the ball, and then you have my running ability. So it puts a
Mhm.
lot of stress on the defense, and you have a great offensive line as well. I mean, the sky's the limit when you're able to run the ball and throw the football offensively.
For
How
sure.
much when you run? How much are you trying not to take a hit? Whenever I'm not saying obviously if it's third down, you're trying to you're trying to get the yardage, but let's say you get the yardage and then you're like 5 yards down the field, you're like, all right, I'm not taking this shot.
I really don't even think about getting hit.
Hmm.
Honestly, when I break out, I really try to score. Unless
Mm,
if it's green grass, if I see green grass, I'm trying to score. If I see a whole bunch of people, I'm just gonna get what I get and get down. I
okay.
mean, I'm very smart about my body because I play quarterback for one, and it's not like I'm a 6'4", 6'5" guy like Cam Newton. I mean, they're gonna try to hurt me.
Yeah.
So I'm very smart with that.
Yeah.
What goes into the decision of actually, running? Because obviously you see a lot of quarterbacks that rely on that a lot. But for you, it seems like you seem to stay in the pocket as long as you can, and then break it out. So what in your mind goes, okay, now I got to go.
Part of it is like an internal clock I have. It's just going through my reads and feeling the pocket out, feeling the pressure, just stepping up in the pocket. If I have to leave the pocket, I will. Um, Really, just you feel it out. At the same time, there are certain calls where it's like 1 or 2, then you have to go.
Mm.
So play call is a fake, but it's really just playing football. You just feel it out.
I get one of my last questions. What have you learned the most this year?
Mm.
I know it's a very broad question,
Yeah.
but thought maybe I can get a decent answer.
What I've learned the most is hmm,
That's what I do, Colin. That's the hard question too.
Yeah,
I mean, it can be, it can be schematically, it can be philosophically, it can be anything, I
One
guess.
one
Right now,
thing
you have
one thing I've learned the most is preparing mentally outside of football. So like what we do with Coach Kagan's is we'll do like mental Thursday as far as meet with us our psychological team and really just deep go deeper into our thoughts and really see how we can better prepare for a game. Because you're just really focused on the game plan. People think just watching film, um, looking over your plays, talking over the game plan is just enough when it really is not. Meditating helps. Talking to people who are professionals with in terms of the brain really helps because they can provide you a mental edge.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't have anything else that's serious. I was curious though, who's the funniest player on the team?
Mm, that's
We
hard.
had Jamori Macklin on. We had J Mac on in the spring, and I thought he was hilarious.
J Mac's up there. J Mac is
J-Mac up there.
that's a hard one. Ooh, that's a hard one.
Maybe on the offense.
You go offense or defense?
Maybe we just do offense.
Offense, I don't know. It might be Jay Smart.
Oh, Jordan Smart.
He's
Okay.
been on a roll lately.
Okay.
He's been on a roll lately.
I feel like that whole receiver core is just unserious off the field.
There are a whole bunch of characters. I can't lie. There are a whole bunch of characters.
Funny. That's funny.
Go ahead.
So after getting away from football, we ask everybody this who we have on two questions. First, what is the hobby outside of football that you do? So you go home, what are you doing?
I like to watch TV or play my PS5. I
Sure.
keep it pretty simple. Like to relax when we get time off because we're very busy here.
Yeah.
So just anything that just like I'm able to relax. If it's like an off day or something, I'll probably go out, go somewhere to eat. If I have time, I'll really go shop.
What's your favorite TV show or PS5 game?
PS5 right now is 2K. GTA is a close second.
Okay.
I
just got 2K. I got it when it came out. Actually, I can't say that, but
the TV show right now is on Hulu. It's called Godfather Harlem.
Okay.
Sweet.
Okay.
Nice.
And then second part of that question, I guess separate question is, if you didn't play football, what sport would you play? We had Rob Brown said he was going to do shot put. And then I forgot what did Gabe Blair say?
Gabe Blair said
hockey. He said hockey.
Right?
Yeah, he said hockey. So
I'm playing baseball.
Baseball. Okay. First baseball we've had.
I mean, I grew up playing baseball. I played every position except catcher, first and third.
Dang.
The quarterback to baseball pipeline is always there. I mean, Jameis Winston. I mean, you go down the list of quarterbacks that play baseball. So
Jameis Kyler.
What? Yeah. But okay, you played in high school, I assume.
I didn't.
You didn't.
I ran track in high school.
Oh, okay.
I would run track, but I know how track practice is. Baseball.
just cardio over and over and over. There's no need for that. All right. Well, I think that's all we got. Were you in the locker room dancing after the La Tech game? What were you?
Oh yeah, we were in there.
You're in there. Okay. I didn't see a video. I didn't see a video on Twitter.
They got pictures. They got pictures.
Okay. Well, that'll be the thumbnail of this YouTube video. So we'll make sure we tag you in it and everything.
All right. Sounds good.
But all right, man. Thanks for joining us. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me.
For sure. All right, Colin. That was a great interview.
Amazing.
I enjoyed that. Shout out to Chandler Rogers for
coming on. Felt a little scared. Dude was kind of just
he was locked in.
He was, yeah. He's locked in 24/7.
That's my quarterback.
Dude's never not locked in. No, that was great. I thought it was really interesting. I guess how he was the backup at ULM, so he's been there before, and then two, how he, for it seemed like he, at the end of the day, he was like, I'm gonna be the starter here eventually. Like he even said, he was like, I came here to be the starter.
Oh yeah, of course he did, and that's the whole thing is, I said this after week 1 or before week 1 or whenever. I was like, players don't leave starting jobs to go be backups.
Right.
There is a understanding across the board that you go get a guy that's a starter at another place because you know what he is and you want that player to be your starter. As Maya barks in the background. Well, hold on, timeout, pause. You have a second dog now.
Not yet. Tomorrow.
Oh, you said you
Tomorrow.
did.
No,
Sorry.
tomorrow. They're doing a meet and greet tomorrow on the front out there, and then they're gonna come inside. Or not tomorrow, Saturday. I thought today was Friday for some reason. Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're the dogs in Waxahachie. How do you say that? Waxahachie?
I say
Waxahachie?
Waxahachie.
Yes, it's spelled that way, so I'm gonna say it that way. Waxahachie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have to drive the dog up from there, and then they're gonna meet on Saturday, and then we have like a 10-day trial period.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, we'll bring it on the podcast once it's official. Very exciting. Very exciting times.
Very exciting. Anyways, to get
I heard Maya bark, and I was like, "What is?"
To get back to Chandler Rogers, you were actually talking. You want to finish your thought?
Let's see. What was I talking about? I don't remember. But
you get when someone transfers,
he transferred. He knew what he was going to do here. I mean, the point about ULM being obviously understaffed, that doesn't really surprise me as much as, I mean, them not having a head trainer is surprising, but them being understaffed compared to North Texas is not. North Texas, we've gone back on this a million times. Resource wise, for a G5 team, they're pretty good in a pretty good spot, and so that's why the standard at North Texas needs to be a little higher than what it's been. Not saying they need to be, going 10-2 every year, but the standard should be a little higher considering the resources that are being put into this football program. And then I thought the really interesting thing to me was that the fact that he had played in a air raid offense before. He played that in high school. I thought that was a really big thing because if you hadn't played in the air raid offense, let's say you played in a traditional whatever spread power, whatever offense in high school, and then ULM, he was kind of just I think it was they tried running the ball. It wasn't an air raid. That's my point.
Yeah.
Now he comes over here to North Texas and it is an air raid. If you hadn't played that before, that can be challenging from a play calling perspective, what you're looking for and all that stuff. So I think that plays a big factor in his comfort level. And then he mentioned it as well, having running backs.
Yeah, actual running backs.
Yeah, changes your life if you're Chandler Rogers. So I can imagine that he is extremely relieved to have running backs that can get him those yards, that he doesn't have to do everything like he did at ULM. So overall, I thought it was a great interview. I thought I was really encouraged. So
if you didn't tell me the record, I'd be like, this team's winning every game.
Still can win every game from here on out, Colin. Here we go.
Still possible.
Okay, let's talk about Eric Morris.
Yeah,
because he talked in San Antonio. I don't know the name of the event. Go Mean Green had it covered very, very well. So shout out to our friends over at Go Mean Green, the main forum for North Texas fans. No free promo, but there's some free promo because they do a great job and we love JD and them over there.
Yeah.
They tweeted out or they did a whole rundown actually on what Eric Morris said. And there was one quote in particular that did stand out to North Texas fans. I think NTSN tweeted it out, so credit to him as well. You have the tweet, you have the quote.
I do have the tweet.
You can go ahead and read it real quickly, and we'll talk about it.
Yep, and the quote is, "And so I just took a chapter from my mentor Michael Leach, which there were so many things that Mike taught me on how to build a program from the ground up. But we went all in on it, and over the last 2 weeks, I've suspended 12 guys and 7 other starters. They did not play against Florida International. We suspended our starting corner and middle linebacker last week because they didn't get their study hours, and one of them was 17 minutes short of it. So we've kind of gone back to drawing a line in the sand and just doing it the way that we've done it in the past. We built this sense of accountability, which is hard for me to do those things at first because they had so much success, and I didn't want to come in and act like we just need to completely do something completely different." So I think this goes back to those quotes that I was actually, criticizing him about, the whole, we don't have everyone in the locker room bought in, blah, blah, blah. I think this adds context to that, to where I'm like, oh yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, what do you think?
No, this is what I said. it plays in part to what I said whenever the initial quote came out. I think it was after Cal, where I was like, we have to get guys bought in. We have to figure out who's bought in, all that stuff. Because what did I say that week? I said, look, it's a coaching change. And they didn't have a bunch of players leave, right? They had a few players leave, but at the end of the day, you're not going to have a full 100% buy-in on a coach that didn't recruit these players. Obviously, a whole new staff that didn't recruit these players. And if you lose a game, lose 2 games in a row, yeah, the buy-in is going to be fairly low for a first-year coach. This isn't a situation where it's a new roster, all coming here to play for this coach.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think when people read the quotes initially from Eric Morris after the Cal game, it's like, whoa, what's happening? Like burn everything down. But that's just how it goes. So for you as a new head coach, you have to, as he said, draw a line in the sand and figure out who's coming with me and who's not. Who's going to do their study hours and who's not. Who wants to play and who doesn't. Because that's the thing. You will lose games regardless. If you have the talent on the field and they're not bought in, you'll lose that game. If you don't have the talent, you're not going to win the game either. So it doesn't matter. It's about building a foundation, building a culture, and drawing that line in the sand to say, this is how we're doing things. And eventually, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, you get those players bought in and they figure out this is how we're doing things. It's that way every single coaching change. There's a massive change in expectations. Eric Morris from Seth Luttrell is a huge change in personalities as far as how they do things. And this was always the way it was going to go. Again, we wish they would have won the game against FIU. They didn't, but they beat La Tech. Things are starting to look up, and I said they needed to beat La Tech for morale's sake as well. Let's not forget.
Oh yeah, everyone's morale, not just the team.
Everyone's. And now you get Abilene Christian, which again should be a win. I'm hesitant to use that phrasing now after the FIU game, but it should be a win. So you go to 2-2, and then you go into conference play, and that's where the season will be determined, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really glad they didn't have an early conference game like a lot of teams do. I mean, Conference USA had week 0 conference games. SEC has week 3 conference games. Like, I'm really glad they're waiting until week 5 to play a conference game. Heck, week 6, right? Because 3 by Abilene Christian, then conference.
Yeah.
So you have 6 weeks to get this thing in order, and then you get into conference play.
Yeah.
So that's my takeaway is this is how it was always going to go. I'm glad he's just kind of said it. We're drawing the line in the sand. You're either with us or you're not. And I'm not afraid to suspend people at this point.
Yeah. I do like because we talked about in the last podcast how he was kind of being a little short with during the press conferences. I like how he's gone back to what I really liked the first part where he's just open. Because I did like that about him because then we know more about what's actually happening. And also clarifies things. Like it clarifies the we need guys to buy in or guys aren't all bought in. So I really like that about it. So I'm glad we brought that quote up.
It's a very underrated part of being a head coach is being able to talk to your fans. And I say fans, I don't say media, right? Because the fans determine how bought in they are. They determine your attendance. They determine obviously if they want you gone.
Yeah.
And ultimately being able to address them in this way, in an open way, like you said, plays a massive, massive factor. Even if things are going badly, if you just explain why things aren't going well.
Yeah.
A lot of people, sure, some people will still be like, oh, this dude doesn't know what he's doing, all this stuff, whatever. You have that contingent, but then you have a contingent that actually cares and will listen to what you're saying. So I think that's something that Incarnate Word, I don't know how much he had to really do that. Last year, Washington State, I don't know, if he had to address the media ton there or whatever. They were pretty good at Washington State, so maybe everything was going well. But when things are not going well, you have to hold our hand and walk us through the fire.
Yeah.
Like you have to. If you just get short on us, we're going to sit there and die in the fire, and then we're going to want you to die with us.
We were dying last week after that.
Exactly.
So
I feel like here's free PSA for Eric Morris. Walk us through the fire. I want my hand held, and I want you to help me.
Like children.
Like children.
Amazing.
That's what I am. I am a child.
I am a child.
I am a child. Anything else on that quote? I feel that was Covers
No, I
that
don't think so.
well. Okay. Anything else? I have some games I want to talk about with the.
You already have them written down?
I do. I have 4 games. Now it's
Okay.
a really interesting week for the American because there's only one conference game in the entire slate, which I guess makes sense because everybody's starting,
Yeah.
on week 5, week 6. The only conference game is Rice and USF. Rice is a short favorite. Rice, Colin, is better than we thought they were.
Rice is like good.
Rice is like good.
Yeah. Right. Rice is a football team.
Put that on a shirt. Rice is like good.
What's crazy is after going to that Houston, or after going to Houston that one time for Mason Fine's attempt at a bowl game, I would never have thought that stadium could ever have a good team in it. I don't know. No one know. I don't know if it's like if you can really tell when you like walk in the stadium as a fan. But let me tell you, that press box was crazy. I had to like climb up some of these weird concrete stairs. Definitely not ADA accessible.
Yeah,
definitely
not
not
approved.
No.
Nobody approved that stadium. For context of Rice, real quick, because they are a team North Texas plays this year. They hung with Texas for a little bit. Rice gave Texas a little bit of problems early on. Texas pulls away and wins 37-10. Still only a 27-point loss for a Texas team that beat Alabama. I'm not mad at that. Then Rice goes up 28-0 on Houston. Houston comes back, forces overtime, and then Rice wins in overtime 43-41. And that's a Houston team that beat UTSA.
Yeah.
And that's a Houston team that is in the Big 12, albeit they are not a good team. They are still a Big 12 team that beat UTSA. Rice wins that game. So when we say that, we have to ask, is Rice better than UTSA? I just asked the questions. Rice then takes care of Texas Southern 59-7. And I'm pretty sure if Rice had played Texas Southern the last 2-3 years, they weren't beating them by 52 points. I don't think they were beating anybody by 52 points in recent history. So I say all of that, Colin, because now we have to look at Rice as a challenging game.
I think it's interesting that they're also playing USF because USF also had a good game against Alabama. They only lost 17-3. So I think this says a lot.
Colin.
What?
I forgot. North Texas doesn't play Rice this year.
Yeah, I was gonna. I thought I was like I don't remember them playing.
You weren't gonna correct me.
I couldn't. I didn't know if I was just wrong because I figured you looked it up.
No, I'm leaving it in. So we're not.
Okay. We own
regardless. USF. I knew they didn't play USF. So still, it adds even more to a conference that I'm already kind of scared of in general.
Well, I think it's important though to also know like I guess at the time what we thought was the bottom half of the conference in terms of football teams, because then we get a good benchmark of what a bad team is in the American. I mean, if they could also be good teams, we could be the bad team. But point is it's good to know how good the conference is because obviously in Conference USA in the past, it's like, okay, yeah, the bottom 3 teams are like actually the worst teams you've ever seen in your life. And I'm hoping that the American's not like that because that's what we talked up whenever they joined the American.
I mean, USF just hung with Alabama for.
That's what I was just saying as you rudely interrupted me. I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, USF only lost 17-3, like to Alabama. Like I don't know.
You know the parade we'd be throwing if North Texas only lost to Alabama 17.
Let me ask you this: any Conference USA team? Do you think any Conference USA team the whole time that we covered North Texas and Conference USA would ever have that scoreline? Do you think they'd ever hold Alabama under 17 points? Any team?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember.
I don't care what version of Alabama. It's still Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was Rice, USF, 2 teams. North Texas does not play this year, but albeit still teams we thought was the bottom of the American. Both have had really, really good seasons to this point. At least good results. I'll say that. Maybe not good seasons. 3 more games. SMU at TCU. Colin.
God, I hate SMU.
I hate SMU too. But this is for SMU. This is their benchmark game every year. It's like, can we finally beat TCU? The answer is usually no. But in fact, it's so much no that TCU fans are saying, why are we even playing this game? It kind of feels like how North Texas SMU is.
Yeah.
Like that's how SMU is getting treated by TCU.
Yeah.
So we'll see this week. SMU largely to this point, I think has had a pretty easy schedule. Besides playing Oklahoma, obviously. Let me get their schedule up. They lost to Oklahoma by 17. I thought they actually didn't play badly there. And then they beat La Tech and Prairie View. So, yeah, TCU is the game for them. That's their benchmark. Because SMU's goal this year is to obviously win the conference for the first time in a long time, but also make a statement in the Metroplex and say, hey, we're going to the AACC. We should be treated like TCU. And just, based on, I'm not a SMU person, I'm not a TCU person, but the difference between them to me is pretty stark still in terms of engagement, in terms of attendance, in terms of quality and consistency of program over the last 20 years.
For sure.
So this will be a big game to see if SMU can make its statement on the national scale there. And then we got Miami at Temple, which is a game I recommend both of us watching.
Yeah.
Here, because Temple, we've already said Navy's better than we thought they were going to be.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the Navy-Memphis game.
Yeah, I thought we did. I thought we did last week a little bit.
Did we? Did that happen?
I thought we did. I don't remember. I thought we did. But regardless, yeah, Navy looks better. We did talk about it a little bit. Yeah, Navy looks better than what we thought it was going to be. I still think Memphis is pretty damn good, but Navy hung in there pretty well and is a tough team. So we need to see now if Temple is also harder than what we thought they were going to be.
What are you looking for in a Temple? If you're like, yeah, North Texas is going to win this game, what's the scoreline of 20th ranked?
We know Temple has a good offense. We know they have a good quarterback,
yeah,
in particular, right? And that's what we when I had Steve Helwick on from Underdog Dynasty, he did a great job laying out that. We should probably have him back on at some point. Yeah, I talked about the pass game for Temple and whatnot. I want to see their defense and how they hold up against Tyler Van Dyke and that Miami team that just put up like 50 on A&M. So we'll know if they get run out the building by Miami, I'll feel better. If they hang with Miami, I'm going to feel worse. The game is in Philadelphia, so it's a home game for Temple. That's just a game that I think we both need to watch and have some eyes on there. Fourth game is Memphis at Missouri.
Yeah.
Memphis, look, Missouri just beat Kansas State. I think Missouri is pretty legit, especially defensively. So if Memphis goes in there and wins or almost wins, then I'm very worried.
The line for the game is not even bad. It's not even touchdown.
It's 6, right?
The 6.
Yeah. So
the American's good. We knew this coming in, though, Bruni.
Yeah.
We knew this coming in. We're just
and
so
UTSA
used
is not even good this year.
UTS, yeah. Does UTSA even play anybody? Oh, they play Tennessee. Yeah. They're gonna lose pretty badly. I feel like
3 touchdowns underdog. So they'll be 1-3, and North Texas could be 2-2.
Big doesn't matter for conference, but big matters for bowl games though.
Yes,
matters for bowl games.
Imagine UTSA missing a bowl game.
And North Texas sneaking in.
UTSA is gonna have to go 4-4 in conference. Like,
yeah, they can do that though. Temple, UAB, FAU, North Texas.
I'm sorry, wait. No. They're gonna have to go 5-3 in conference.
Yeah, they'd have to be. Oh, I don't know if that's possible. They'd have to beat Temple, UAB, FAU, East Carolina, and then I guess if we think that Rice and South Florida is good, they'd have to beat us.
We're gonna be the deciding game.
Well, that's assuming that they can't beat Rice or South Florida.
They have it pretty easy. So they don't play Tulane?
That's the last game.
Okay, I was like, I thought they played Tulane. So
yeah, I was just writing that off as a loss.
Okay. But this will be interesting then.
It's gonna be an interesting year. Yeah.
Go ahead. I don't got anything else.
Are we still on the 4 to 5 game? Because I put out that poll of how many games we're gonna win. A lot of people said 6, believe it or not. Thoughts?
I voted 4.
I voted 4 as well.
I think 5 is on the table though. But the American's just really good. So I don't know. I don't want to raise my expectations too high and then Navy and Temple come in. And
the craziest thing is that 6-1. 30% of people.
6+. Actually.
6+, yeah. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It really depends on these worst teams. But also we haven't really seen, those first 2 games sucked, but we've talked about it already. Chandler Rogers seems to put this team in a different area.
He's locked in.
Of everything. So
he's locked.
Shout out to him for coming on.
Shout out him for coming on. All right, it's a bye week, Colin. We will not have a post game podcast, so everybody you don't have to look for that. But we will be back next week to preview Allen Christian. Probably have a guest on as well. Going to try to get another one, and then yeah, it's time to see if North Texas can take down Abilene Christian, the Wildcats. I believe they are.
Yes, the ACU Wildcats.
That's right. You knew that? Okay. Impressive.
My friend went to ACU.
Okay. Well, at this point next week, Colin may or may not have a new dog.
So I will have the new dog.
But it'll be a 10-day trial.
Yeah, the 10 days from now is Sunday.
Well, I thought you were getting on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, I am getting Saturday. So
Okay,
it'll still be here, though.
It will be here.
10 days is 10 days. I don't know.
10 days, 10 days. All right, Colin. Well, Colin may have a new dog. Home field, 15% off. M Green, as always. Shout out to them.
That was a good transition.
Shout out to everybody
who
supports us through Home Field and checks out Home Field. Also, I guess, we'll just throw out there if anybody else wants to sponsor us, feel free. Shoot me a DM.
Yeah, anything. We will sell our souls. I don't know, whatever you want us to say.
I have no morals here, okay?
Yeah, you got, whatever you got out there. I don't know what.
DM me. I know Twitter Blues makes it to where you can't DM people that don't follow you back, I think. But if you just shoot me or if you shoot us
just add somebody.
Yeah, just add us and be like, hey, DM me or something like that, I guess. I don't know.
Green Room UNT.
Yeah, be like, hey,
sell your souls.
Yes, be like, I have money for you. And I will say, okay.
Yeah. How low would you have to, like, what's the lowest thing you'd do? The lowest thing you'd sponsor?
$10.
Industry.
Well, actually, how much is a Canes combo nowadays? Like 13?
Oh, man, if we got Canes.
Like, imagine once a month I get $13.
If we got a Canes sponsor and all they gave us was a meal, like once a month, I'd do it. I'd do it just for the cloud of saying that we got Canes. Imagine a Canes logo right next to home.
Yeah, Canes logo. The whole bottom is just going to be filled with like logos in like 4 months. That's the plan.
And they give us nothing. They just give us something once a month.
We get one meal a month from each one. Like there's Canes, there's Burger King, I'm trying to find a local Louisiana one right here.
Local Louisiana on a UNC podcast would be pretty impressive.
Get a Denton one over here. Yeah, Colin, it's your job. It's your job.
I don't live in Denton.
Van Alstyne over here.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There you go. We are open for business. So everybody take note. All right. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next week with another edition. Y'all have a good weekend. Enjoy a lot of good football. And we will talk to y'all later.